less than an hour away from the kickoff of Berwick Bulldogs football on Pop Radio. Streaming online at thisispopradio.com. Brought to you by
Overhead Door of Berwick, Berwick Notary, State Farm Insurance, Sean Black and Lori Powell, First Keystone Community Bank, the Willows Golf Course, Journey Bank, Flick Brothers Electric in Bloomsburg, Blaze Alexander Family Buick GMC of Bloomsburg, Berwick Dental Arts, W&L Subaru, Nissan and Mazda, Reds Roofing, Preferred Portables, Nespoli Jewelers, Neighborhood Fence, Ken Pollock Ford, Mayo Funeral Home, ND Accounting and Consulting, and Mason's Monogram Service.
It's time for the CJ Curry Show on Pop Radio. Here with the first-year head coach of the Berwick Bulldogs is Jim Doyle.
For the second straight Friday night, the Bulldogs are on the road to take on a brand new opponent. Tonight, it's the Lions of Lackawanna Trail here at Lions Pride Stadium in Factoryville. The Lions are 1-1 after last Friday's 28-7 loss to Western Wayne. The Dogs are 0-2 after their loss at Mid-Valley by an identical score. CJ, admittedly, Mid-Valley is a formidable defense, but your team's offense did not score a single point, had only 21 rushing yards, 95 yards total offense. When you think back to that, what was the most disappointing aspect? Was there something that, after looking at film, you thought you would be able to do and you didn't?
You know, Jim, like you said, you look at those statistics and you go back to the film and the statistics look terrible. But when you go back and you see that you're one block away, you're one catch away, you're one missed read away, you're one penalty away from really being able to do some great things offensively. And I think that, with the 95 yards of total offense, we know that we have to get better. We've scored 7 points as an offense through 8 quarters of football. We know that that's not how you can win football games, and that's unacceptable, and we have to be better with that as well. There's no question about it. But, you see, when you go back and watch the film, and you have a couple drops, you have a couple misreads, you have one offensive lineman or a tight end that misses their assignment on a block, and if you get some of those things and you can get some plays. So it was more encouraging than what you would think by looking at 21 rushing yards and 95 total yards of offense without taking anything away from Mid-Valley. I mean, those kids were tough, they were fast, they were physical. They brought heat, and it was tough for us to handle that heat, even though that we had practiced it during the week. And so I think that, a lot of it stems from a little bit of inexperience coming from our quarterbacks, a little bit of inexperience coming from some of our skill players and our running backs. But, altogether, we just know that that we have to be better, we have to get tougher, and it didn't help that in a lot of our drives, especially in the first half, we were starting behind the chains. And so, you go from 2nd and 8, the first drive, to 2nd and 13, you have 2 1st and 15s that it kind of makes you one-dimensional in the fact that we're having a tough time running the football, and when you get 5 yards back, it's a little bit tougher to run the football. So I think it was a myriad of different things that hurt us on Friday night, but we're a young team, we're a young offense, still trying to get it to click, and so this week of practice has been huge to try to change that for tonight.
Well, besides not putting points on the board, your team's lack of offense put your defense in some tough spots. Mid-Valley's first 3 touchdowns, their possessions starting at your team's 44, starting at your 40, starting at your 16. That hurts.
Absolutely, and that's huge. We have to take care of the football, and we can't be going 3 and out. That was, I think that we had something along the lines of maybe like 14 plays in the first half, if it was that. And so, our defense, they fought their tails off all night, which was so great to see once again. And, it's a lot of the same guys that play offense, but they take so much pride in their defense and being tough and making them earn every single yard that they get. And so, you try to get some momentum, and it just seems like we were never able to keep that momentum. Tymir Wilkerson has an unbelievable play, has a pick 6. We couldn't keep that momentum. We force a 3 and out where they have 4th and forever, and we're not able to keep momentum. We throw an interception the next play to set them up. Not able to get the ball out of our own end zone, essentially, in that first half where we go 3 and out on the goal line, gives them an opportunity in half a field. And with an offense like Mid-Valley, you can't give those guys opportunities like that. Jacob Lesher was everything that he ought to be. Great player, great runner. He got stronger as the game went on, and I think that our defense did a great job against him. He hit us for a couple chunk plays, but I think for the most part, you look at, he had 250 or 60 yards rushing or something along those lines, but I think for the most part, till late third, fourth quarter, we kept him in check for the most part. Quarterback had under 10 yards passing, which is incredible. So, just little things that we have to fix and just keep getting better and staying together.
Well, sophomore Jake Lisnak had the first extended playing time of his career as a quarterback. How do you do?
Jake did great. Jake does some really good things, and he gives us a lot of great things, and we're going to steal a little bit more of Jake tonight. He's going to take our first snaps tonight and kind of let him roll with the offense a little bit. Jake's got a cannon arm. He's got a great ball. He makes good decisions, and he gives us a little bit in the run game, too. And so, as a sophomore, I'm playing a lot of defensive end. Jake truly is like your old school Berwick quarterback, like your Tristan DePippa. I remember being the water boy and watching Tristan play D-end and quarterback. And so, it's kind of the same deal with Jake. He's a tough kid, a smart kid, and he loves the game. He loves his teammates. He loves to get after it. So I'm excited to watch what Jake can do tonight.
Well, up next, CJ will evaluate his team's defensive effort against Mid-Valley. You're listening to the CJ Curry Show on Pop Radio.
Experience the difference at Blaze Alexander Family Dealership. For over 40 years, Blaze Alexander has been Central PA's top choice for unbeatable prices. With 20 locations and 11 brands, we have what you want at a price you deserve. Over 4,000 new and pre-owned vehicles available. Why go anywhere else? Stop and shop or check us out online at blazealexander.com. Sales, service, parts, collision.
Red's Roofing, the roofing ninjas of Berwick. The roofing experts for all of our listening area. With over 30 years experience and great rates, why go anywhere else when Red's Roofing will get the job done right for your roofing, decks, and siding, specializing in metal roofs, rubber roofs, and shingles. Most of the work is done in one day. Red's Roofing, the roofing ninjas. Now located in Dushore and also serving Bradford and Sullivan counties with owner Harry Titus, a supporter of the Berwick football team and St. Jude Children's Hospital. Call 570-752-4351.
Planning your next big event? Weddings, concerts, church festivals, even construction sites. Preferred Portables has you covered. Preferred Portables offers a luxury restroom trailer that even has hot water. No power? No problem. They can provide a generator to keep the lights on. They even provide sanitary service to campgrounds, parks, parties, and have 24-hour emergency service. Contact Preferred Portables to learn about event and contractor pricing. Check out their website, preferredportables.com. We're number one when you have to go number two.
Escape the ordinary this fall. Navigate the unpaved roads in a Mazda CX-50 with as low as 0.9% financing for 60 months or 1.9% for 72 months at W&L Mazda. Maneuver through the city streets in the nimble Mazda CX-30, offering low financing rates or up to $1,000 customer cash. Find your Mazda at W&L, off Route 11 in Northumberland, online at WNLMazda.com or at the Bloomsburg Fair. Financing available to well-qualified applicants. Customer cash cannot be combined with financing rates, only with military or loyalty offers. Offer ends 9/30/24. See W&L Mazda for complete offer details.
You're listening to the CJ Curry Show on Pop Radio. Here with the first-year head coach of the Berwick Bulldogs is Jim Doyle.
Looking for their first win of the season, the Bulldogs are here in Factoryville tonight, north of Scranton, to take on the Lions of Lackawanna Trail. CJ, you mentioned this earlier, big game for Jacob Leschak. In fact, they had 259 yards in total offense, and all but 22 were on him. Were you at all disappointed that you didn't contain him more?
Not at all. Not at all. Honestly, I think that our guys did a great job for the most part in containing him. And I think that there were times that we were trying to go for the ball in tackles and really going for the ball and not taking him out at the legs. But I think for the most part, we rallied to the ball and we were there gang tackling. And our guys were tough the entire night in trying to stop him. And I think that, it's essentially impossible to stop him. But I think that we did a pretty good job with it. And, you never want to blame officials, but you go back on the tape and you look and, you see two blatant no calls on holds on two of his biggest runs. Not to say that our guys would make the play and good teams are going to have to overcome bad officiating. That's something that my grandfather's always said. So, no excuses there, but I could see that, our guys worked their tails off to try to stop him, and that was part of the game plan. One big thing that makes me happy to know that these guys have watched the film and that these guys were prepared for last week. What they were going to give us is the same play that Tymir Wilkerson had his pick six on was the same play that Mid-Valley scored a 70-yard touchdown on against Pittston the week prior. And so, it's those things that let me know that these guys are bought in and that they care, and that, they're doing what they can to make sure that they're ready to go on Friday nights. And so, although, yeah, we would have liked to hold him for a few less yards, but, you just watch the kid play, and, he's a grinder. He just finds a way to get it done. And, late in the third and fourth quarter, he ripped off a couple that, I think that we missed some tackles and did some things, but for the most part, I'm proud of their effort.
Well, the interception return touchdown by Ty was pretty spectacular. Obviously, he showed his speed there, but I thought your defensive unit did a great job of transforming from defense to offense. He had some good blocking. It
was unbelievable. We watched that in the film room yesterday at least 6 times. I just kept playing it over and just watching each individual player's effort on our defense. Caleb May goes down and he lays a kid out on the sidelines, and he's in front of him. Alex Estrella's blocking. Aiden George is blocking. Billy Hansen's blocking. Everybody's down there. Even the defensive linemen are all sprinting down, and you can just see the genuine excitement with their body language when Tymier crossed the plane of the end zone. Everybody's hands are going up. Everybody was fired up for him. Our guys don't care who gets the credit as long as it helps our team to win. So that was just something that was so beautiful to me watching it on film. And like I said, we had to run that clip back 6-7 times.
Well, that was a spectacular play, but maybe even more spectacular was a play that didn't count.
No doubt.
There's a punt situation in your territory, a bad snap. Sean Bankus goes back to his own 4-yard line. At that point, when he picks up the ball, there aren't a lot of good options. Nope. His option is to run. He ends up running. I'm trying to estimate. If he started at the 4 and got down inside there, it had to be like 80 yards of running.
No doubt.
Unfortunately, it comes back on a bad block, but a spectacular play on Sean's part.
For sure, and that just shows what Sean Bankus can do. He's a senior who's waited for his opportunity, and, there's a loaded running back room that we have, which is what he plays. But Sean's physicality and just ability to have this kind of wiggle that you can't teach, that's what Sean has. And so he's got a booming leg for a punter, and when that happened, it just gave him a chance to showcase his ability to make something happen with the football. And what a great job he did. So many people in that situation would just panic or try to throw it out of bounds or just jump on it, but Sean got the ball and made an unbelievable play, which is another reason why we talk about a lost opportunity at gaining the momentum. That's a huge momentum shift, down 2 scores at that time, and he takes it all the way into the red zone, and it was a block that didn't need to happen. I don't think that the kid was going to make the play. And so, we talked about that. And the player who did that felt bad about it, but just have to have better discipline than that. You got to be more disciplined in that situation and understand that, old school football, that would have been a great block. But in today's game, you just can't do it. And it was flat out illegal. And so, it took away a great opportunity and a great play that Sean had. But, we said we're still going to add that to Sean's highlight tape.
Indeed. Tonight, natural grass surface here at Lions Pride Stadium. You'll see it again when you go to Wyoming area. What difference, if any, does that make?
It does make a little bit of a difference, but, we've spent all week practicing on it. That's the great part about Crispin Field is that we have our turf and we have our grass field right behind it. So we've had a great opportunity this week to get used to it, and I think that these guys are ready to go tonight to be on it. It reminds me of when Notre Dame used to play USC, and Notre Dame would grow the grass a little bit for Reggie Bush. So we'll see tonight whether or not that grass is a little bit higher for Tymier and company. But I think that these guys are ready. It shouldn't make too big of a difference. It kind of brings me back to a quote that my grandfather would say as well. We'll play them anytime, anywhere, any surface, rain, sleet, hail, snow, and all the other stuff. And so, that's just the mindset that these guys have.
Well, tonight's opponent, Lackawanna Trail. Later in the show, CJ will tell us about the Lions. But up next, it's the Bulldog Spotlight feature. You're listening to the CJ Curry Show on Pop Radio.
When you've been sidelined by an injury, all you want is to get back in the game. Getting to the finish line starts with Lehigh Valley Orthopedic Institute, the region's leader in sports medicine. We use the most advanced technology for faster, better results, so elite and everyday athletes can compete like champions once again. Call 833-LV-ORTHO. Touchdown! Lehigh Valley Orthopedic Institute. Your health deserves a partner.
Family tradition is the foundation of Nespoli Jewelers, a family tradition started by Joseph Nespoli and continued by his grandson Jonathan. For 3 generations, Nespoli Jewelers have prided themselves on mixing fine with fashion. Jonathan can customize your engagement ring and wedding bands, design a unique piece of jewelry inspired by you, or simply help you find an affordable gift. Service, quality, creativity. Nespoli Jewelers. Yesterday's principles, today's creations. East Front Street in Berwick and online at nespolijewelers.com.
For over 50 years, you've trusted Overhead Door to provide the finest quality residential and commercial garage door products, installation, and service. With winter right around the corner, your garage doors need a tune-up. For only $99 for one or $125 for multiple doors, they'll check, lube, and adjust your garage doors and openers so they operate smoothly. Call for their seasonal tune-up special, Overhead Door of Berwick. They're more than just doors. See their 5-star rating on their Google business page or visit ohdberwick.com.
We're here at Ken Pollock in Berwick, and Ken is here with us. And Ken, you've been here for the last 10 years or so. Has Berwick welcomed you?
Absolutely. I think we align perfectly as a group with the Berwick community. We're community driven. We love servicing the people down here. We have great deals every day, whatever stage in life you might be at, looking for a car for your kid, family, whatever it might be. We have a huge selection here, and whatever you have, bring it down and we'll service it for you as well. Our people are very eager and very knowledgeable about the product that we do have, so we really want to help you out and make you a part of the Ken Pollock family.
You're listening to the CJ Curry Show on Pop Radio. Here with the first-year head coach of the Berwick Bulldogs is Jim Doyle.
Well, tonight, the first meeting ever between Berwick and Lackawanna Trail. A traditional power in Class A, the Lions made it to the state finals back in 2018. Last season, they were 13-0 before losing to Steel High in the state quarterfinals. In our next segment, CJ will tell us about Lackawanna Trail, but now it's time for our weekly feature, Bulldog Spotlight. Tonight, the spotlight is on senior lineman Chase Shuckers. A senior at 6'2", 265 pounds, Chase brings both size and experience to the offensive line. CJ, evaluate him as a right tackle.
Chase is the best that we got on both sides of the ball. He really is. And we knew that Chase was going to be a stud from the minute that I walked in the building. And just watching him play, you know, he's our only guy that's been a true 4-year starter on both sides of the ball. And Chase has taken this leadership aspect of his game this year, the entire offseason. He's been the guy in our locker room. There's no doubt about that. You know, as a right tackle, he's mean, he's aggressive, he's a smart kid. You know, he averages a 97 or 98 GPA in school. He's a distinguished honor roll kid. He knows the game of football, and he's mean when he plays, which is what you need in a lineman.
And he's battled through some injuries, hasn't he?
He certainly has. Chase has been through so much adversity during his high school career, you know, between coaching changes and his injuries. I mean, there was a chance when we were talking this offseason that, you know, his doctor was going to say, man, like, there's a chance that you don't play football this year, that last year was it with the way that his knees are and just the surgeries that he's had to grind through to get back. And knowing that this is his last go out, like, Chase can play college football. It's unfortunately just not in his cards with the way that his knees are right now. So I have so much respect for Chase and his pain threshold, which is what you need as an offensive and defensive lineman. And, you know, when the season started, we had discussed, like, you know, Chase, you might only be able to go one way. And we're going to try to do our best to keep you fresh and to make sure that, you know, we're not putting too much on your plate. And then with the way that the first 2 weeks have gone, Chase has played every single snap on offense and defense, but he's one of those guys that you got to have on the field. You know, just for his strength, his attitude, his knowledge, his leadership, and the way that he gets after it. I mean, he's a pivotal part of our football team, and I'm so proud to coach him. I'm so proud that he's with us. I mean, he's the real deal.
In the Bulldog Spotlight, senior lineman Chase Shuckers. Tonight, Chase and his Bulldog teammates take on Lackawanna Trail. Up next, CJ will tell us about the Lions' offense. You're listening to the CJ Curry Show on Pop Radio.
Jim Doyle and the Berwick Bulldogs head coach CJ Curry. Brought to you by
Overhead Door of Berwick, Berwick Notary, State Farm Insurance, Sean Black and Lori Powell, First Keystone Community Bank, the Willows Golf Course, Journey Bank, Flick Brothers Electric in Bloomsburg, Blaze Alexander Family Buick GMC of Bloomsburg, Berwick Dental Arts, W&L Subaru, Nissan and Mazda, Reds Roofing, Preferred Portables, Nespoli Jewelers, Neighborhood Fence, Ken Pollock Ford, Mayo Funeral Home, ND Accounting and Consulting, and Mason's Monogram Service.
You covered. Preferred Portables service. Contact Preferred Portables to learn about event and contractor pricing. Check out their website, preferredportables.com. We're number one when you have to go number two.
Hey, hometown fans. You know Journey Bank as your trusted local bank. But did you know we're also the biggest cheerleader for our community's youth? From athletes competing under the Friday Journey Bank, where dreams are nurtured and futures are built. Journey Bank, proud supporter of our local youth.
Red's Roofing, the roofing ninjas of Berwick. The roofing experts for all of our listening area. With over 30 years experience. With Aunt Larry Titus, a supporter of the Berwick football team and St. Jude Children's Hospital.
Did you know we're also the biggest cheerleader for our community's youth? From athletes competing under the Friday night lights, to students excelling in the classroom, to talented teen stars singing center stage, we're investing in the future of our young people. At Journey Bank, we're committed to helping our kids score big in every aspect of life. Journey Bank, where dreams are nurtured and futures are built. Journey Bank, proud supporter of our local youth.
You're listening to the CJ Curry Show on Pop Radio. Here with the first-year head coach of the Berwick Bulldogs is Jim Doyle.
Lions Pride Stadium here in Factoryville, the venue for tonight's first ever meeting between Lackawanna Trail and Berwick. Trail's 1-1 with a 41-7 win over Tunkhannock in their opener, followed by a 28-7 loss to Western Wayne last Friday. Bulldogs 0-2 with losses to Lake Lehman and Mid-Valley. CJ, tonight your team's defense will face the Delaware Wing T offense. That's what Lackawanna Trail runs, and they run it well. Last year, they rushed for over 4,000 yards as a team, over 9 yards a carry. What's unique about this offense, and why is it difficult to defend?
It's super difficult to defend, like you said, and I mean, you don't see it. And I think that that's kind of the biggest thing, is that you only have 3 days to prepare for this, and 4 if you count the film preparation, you know, on your Sundays, and when you finally get the film for the guys to watch. You know, it's tough to prepare for in such a short amount of time. There's a ton of misdirection, there's a ton of smoke and mirrors, and so, you know, discipline is going to be huge for us this year on our defense, and so for this game on our defense, I should say. And so you know, you say last year they rushed for 4,000 yards, and they bring 4 offensive linemen back. And so they have an all-conference rusher in Demetrius Douglas coming back. The kid can really play. And you know, the quarterback's a super smart, savvy, agile kid, too, who's the coach's son. And so, you know, just understand that the last time that we faced an offense like this was Southern Columbia, and our defense has worked all week with a chip on their shoulder to say that the last time that we faced a defense or an offense like the Wing T, we gave up 50 points. And so knowing that this is a great historic program who's used to winning, and their culture is winning, and that they're coming off being 13-1 and district champions, you know, we know that we have our work cut out for us. They're super disciplined, but we have to be disciplined on the defensive side of the ball as well.
You mentioned Douglas. He's averaging 6.5 yards a carry. What kind of running back is he? Super tough and physical kid. I think he has sneaky athleticism. You know, but just his build and the way that, I mean, he just keeps those legs going. I think he's got great field vision, and you know, they utilize running behind those 4 offensive linemen returning, who paved the way for 4,000 yards last year. And you know, he's a senior veteran in this offense. You know, I think that he kind of knows exactly the things that he needs to look for and to do to be successful. And so, you know, when he gets his carries, he makes it worth it. But the kid's just a tough kid. You can tell on film. He's a physical player. Well, Wing T employs 3 different running backs, and if you put a running quarterback into the mix, then you've really got some issues. And that quarterback, Tyler Jarvis, the son of the head coach Steve Jarvis, he has 17 carries in 2 games, so he's a threat. Absolutely. You know, you see him on film, and you might look at his size being 5'10", 160, but you know, the kid can make plays. I mean, he's
He's a sneaky, athletic guy. I mean, he's able to, whenever you think that he's bottled up, he finds a way to sneak through the line of scrimmage. And so, with a lot of their misdirection, it opens him up. He's got a great arm, too. I mean, you watch their game against Tunkhannock, and he throws the ball almost 50 air yards for a perfect post for a touchdown to Kimmel, who's another unbelievable player that they have. And so they don't lack the playmakers for sure. And, our guys have to understand, and we talked about this all week, that the score may have been 28-7 last week, but Trail had a kickoff return called back for a touchdown, and they were stopped at the 1-yard line. So you can make the argument that the game was 28-21, and it's a whole different ball game in the fourth quarter when it's 1 touchdowns as opposed to 3 touchdowns. And so these guys got what it takes. They're a disciplined, tough, smart football team who plays for each other. I know they only have 20-some guys on the roster, but it doesn't matter how many guys you got if you got 11 that can play.
You mentioned Max Kimmel. He's returning all-state player as a defensive back, but as a wide receiver, through 2 games, he's caught 3 passes and averaging over 30 yards a catch. So while they don't throw much, a handful of passes, 8 in 2 games, it's still there, isn't it?
Absolutely. And that's kind of their game. When you have somebody like him, he goes up and he gets it. And in a jump ball situation, there's not many times that he doesn't come down with it. And so, watching and making sure our guys understand, like watching them against Tunkhannock, there's 5 minutes and 53 seconds left in the second quarter before they throw a pass. So they lull you to sleep and they just keep grinding you down. And then when you least expect it, they go play action. 60-yard touchdown pass. And so we have to be ready for that. We can't fall asleep on these guys because they have playmakers at every position that are able to get points quick.
Well, up next, CJ will evaluate Lackawanna Trail's defense. You're listening to the CJ Curry Show here on Pop Radio.
Planning your next big event? Weddings, concerts, church festivals, even construction sites. Preferred Portables has you covered. Preferred Portables offers a luxury restroom trailer that even has hot water. No power? No problem. They can provide a generator to keep the lights on. They even provide sanitary service to campgrounds, parks, parties, and have 24-hour emergency service. Contact Preferred Portables to learn about event and contractor pricing. Check out their website, preferredportables.com. We're number 1 when you have to go number 2.
Family tradition is the foundation of Nespoli Jewelers, a family tradition started by Joseph Nespoli and continued by his grandson Jonathan. For 3 generations, Nespoli Jewelers have prided themselves on mixing fine with fashion. Jonathan can customize your engagement ring and wedding bands, design a unique piece of jewelry inspired by you, or simply help you find an affordable gift. Service, quality, creativity. Nespoli Jewelers. Yesterday's principles, today's creations. East Front Street in Berwick and online at nespolijewelers.com.
When you've been sidelined by an injury, all you want is to get back in the game. Getting to the finish line starts with Lehigh Valley Orthopedic Institute, the region's leader in sports medicine. We use the most advanced technology for faster, better results, so elite and everyday athletes can compete like champions once again. Call 833-LV-ORTHO. Lehigh Valley Orthopedic Institute. Your health deserves a partner.
Experience the difference at Blaze Alexander Family Dealership. For over 40 years, Blaze Alexander has been Central PA's top choice for unbeatable prices. With 20 locations and 11 brands, we have what you want at a price you deserve. Over 4,000 new and pre-owned vehicles available. Why go anywhere else? Stop and shop or check us out online at blazealexander.com. Sales, service, parts, collision.
You're listening to the CJ Curry Show on Pop Radio. Here with the first-year head coach of the Berwick Bulldogs is Jim Doyle.
Weekend number 3 of high school football's 10-week regular season kicks off tonight. Here at Lions Pride Stadium in Factoryville, it's the first ever meeting between Berwick and Lackawanna Trail. CJ, Lions coach Steve Jervis uses a 4-4 defense. Those front 4, they have great size. They average 253 pounds a man. Is this team tough to run against?
Certainly tough to run against, and you can see it. I mean, Western Wayne's bread and butter coming back with 8 to 9 guys, and they were 8-4 last year. They struggled to run against them, and they have a great line. They have a great running back who was able to sneak through a couple times, and they ended up chunking him a few times on the ground, looking at the statistics and watching the film. But I mean, these guys play super disciplined. They do everything that you would ask a defensive line to do on a disciplined and tough football team. They use their hands, they find the ball, they shed blocks, they get to the ball. You know, I don't think that they utilize the blitz as much, but when they do, it's effective. And so this is the third week in a row that we faced the 4-4, and we've certainly, it's no secret that we've had trouble running against it. And so, you know, we've taken that to heart this week at practice, and our offensive line has something to prove this week. And so, you know, just understand it. Hey, it's us versus them. They're high school kids just like us. You know, we just have to be ready to be tough and be in for another 4-quarter battle, because they're very well coached, and Lackawanna Trail will not beat themselves. We're going to have to go out and take it from them.
And the back seven has their talent as well, including Max Kimmel, who's 6'3", 185, and an all-stater at the defensive back position from last year. He's pretty good.
Certainly. He certainly is. You know, you don't see a lot in high school football, especially in this area anymore, guys press coverage, in press coverage, and especially in man press coverage. And so that's something that we've seen on film, that they trust him to be up in the receiver's face and try to beat him up. And they know that even if the receiver gets off the ball when he's in that trail technique, that, you know, he can make up his ground and he can go up and make plays. And so, you know, I think that there's some things in the secondary that we could take advantage of, but once again, it's going to be up to our guys making plays. 6
starters back from a team that was 13-1 and made it to the state quarterfinals last year. So obviously this is a tough defense. Your offense hasn't gotten it going yet. What are the keys tonight offensively?
I think it was a great week of practice that we have had so far, and to just keep trying to do the little things correctly. I mean, we have to be able to dominate the line of scrimmage. We have to be able to understand our alignments and our assignments and just go get the job done when we're running the football. And when it comes to throwing the football, I think it's putting our quarterbacks in a little bit better spot of being able to be successful and get some early success. And that's getting our playmakers the ball in space. You know, we have some great playmakers between Billy Hansen, Julian Howie, Tyler Wilkerson, Caleb May, Gabe Decker. I mean, Gavin Galusha, the list goes on of guys, and I'm not doing a good job of getting them the ball in space. And so I think that giving our quarterbacks some easy throws, and being able to just kind of give our guys an opportunity to have the ball in space and go make a play, I think is going to be big for us tonight.
Thanks again. Best of luck and get number 1.
Thank you very much, Jim. We appreciate it.
Listen for another CJ Curry show before next Friday's game against Hazelton area here at Crispin Field.